What's up, guys? Today I'll be reviewing an absolute banger of a chapter. Like, great action. This is the type of chapter that I've been waiting for a very long time, and we got it. So, again, the cover story. I don't know what else to say, but it looks like I think it was Nichi and Yanchi, the ones who are trapped in the book. Looks like Pudding is gonna take them to Whole Cake. So it looks like they're backtracking before they end up escaping. That's all I gotta say for now. We'll see what happens. Then, the beginning of the chapter, we see Drake fighting against another CP0 dude. And I wish this fight would have gone on longer, but again, in the context of the chapter, it makes sense why CP0 dude ended up, knocking out Drake, at least for a moment. I still feel like Drake is gonna get his moment to shine. I think all the supernovas have gotten their moment to shine. I think Drake's gonna get back up and fight either another CP0 dude or the same CP0 dude who just knocked him out right now. That to me makes the most logical sense. And also you got the whole Drake representing sword and then CP0 representing the shield. So the sword and shield analogy here, I think that's gonna be what ends up determining Drake versus CP0 and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And then the chapter goes into Luffy versus Kaido. Of course, before that you get an update on all the people in the Flower Capital. I mean, it's just, again, one of those updates. You just gotta keep in touch with the general public of Wano. But then it goes into Luffy versus Kaido. And like I said at the beginning of this review, what a fucking great fight. This is one of the best fights, I think, in the last 100-ish chapters. I think it's right up there with 10-10, but the way the panels and the fight was choreographed, this was an insanely good fight. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, this fight starts off with Luffy using Snake Man. He's going hard on Kaido. He even claimed that this is gonna be the last time he's gonna use Gear 4th. That's probably because he has a 10-minute limit here. So it makes sense why Luffy said that. But he is just going off. Kaido's not able to read his attacks. Luffy's packing a lot of punch into his attacks. Of course, since he has Conqueror's Haki right now, or Ryo, both power-ups to his attacks. So you can imagine how strong this would be against a regular person, but again, he's facing against Kaido, so it's a little bit different. Speaking of which, Kaido has made a small comment here, saying that this attack doesn't look like it comes from the rubber Devil Fruit. And I don't know if this is Oda just hardcore capping here, or whether Oda is being dead serious when he wrote this in. But again, this just shows how aware Oda is with the fan base. He knows that people are starting to think that the Gomu Gomu no Mi might be something else. And obviously he drops this quote from Kaido. We'll see what happens. This could be a troll statement, or this could be a dead ass actual proclamation that that this is not the rubber Devil Fruit. Speaking of which, Kaido just casually drops that he has Future Sight, and yeah, he's now able to dodge all of Luffy's attacks after he uses Future Sight. I don't know what to say about this, but I'm not shocked that he has Future Sight. I think probably the reason why he wasn't using it this entire time was probably because it would have depleted his stamina. And I believe there's a statement somewhere in Whole Cake, I forgot which character said this, but apparently Haki can drain someone's energy. So it makes sense why Kaido doesn't use Future Sight, because again, if he does use Future Sight, his energy is going to be drained, but then at the same time, Kaido is this physical beast who can tank a lot of attacks, so he probably doesn't need to use Future Sight. But, you know, I'm not surprised that he has Future Sight. That's all I can say. Speaking of Kaido, like the number of forms he's going through with his drunk phase, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Either this makes Kaido way more threatening, or this makes Kaido way more human, and I think it does a combination of both. I think the form that really got to me was his flirtatious mode. I don't know what to say about that, but it's definitely interesting now. This battle is very entertaining in multiple ways. Of course, there's a lot of hype moments, but now there's just some comedic troll moments thrown into this fight. And, you know, I wouldn't expect anything less from Oda. Like, that's all I gotta say here. Speaking of all the modes that he's going through, he's also going through many different transformations. Like, he's going in and out of his regular form to the dragon form, back to his regular form, and then, you know, whatever. I think one of the most creative sequences of attacks this chapter was when he turned into a dragon. He literally chews up Luffy, spits him out, and then uses Boro Breath on top of that. I mean, I don't know, man. This is an insult to Luffy at this point. I guess Luffy's too short. It almost feels like Luffy is an ant trying to fight a beast. Not gonna lie. And I think some of the most absurd panels I've seen are like Luffy, like just floating in midair trying to attack Kaido, or Kaido in his dragon form. Like, holy shit, does he really have to float into the air and jump like, I don't know, like 100 feet just to land like a head-on, like a shot on Kaido? Like, I don't know. It's just very, very, like, you know, it's very interesting. But, you know, like, along with his, like, different phases of his drunkenness, like, he's also, like, you know, transforming into, like, different forms. Like, I think there's a thief mode, there's also like a homicidal mode, and, you know, the flirtatious mode, like, you know, and on top of that he's transforming all over the place. Yeah, so after that Boro Breath attack, the Boro Breath literally goes through the island. Luffy falls through the hole and now is about to fall down from the island, fall off the island. But then he uses Gear 4th Bound Man, and I don't know what to say about this, but it definitely looks like Luffy is starting to master his Gear 4th a little bit more. Obviously he acknowledged that there's a time limit, but, you know, now he's able to transform between a couple of modes, so now his Gear 4th is instantly more versatile here. And not just that, but Bound Man, I think one of the advantages is that you can hop in air, so I guess, like, you know, this is a great excuse for Luffy to learn how to go through different modes of Gear 4th, because he kind of needed it at that time in order to hop back into the island. And then Luffy also reveals, like, you know, a new attack called Supreme Kong Gun. It's basically taking Luffy's, like, one of his strongest attacks and adding Conqueror's Haki to it, which, again, you can imagine how devastating it is to a regular opponent. But then again, he's trying to keep up with Kaido of all the characters, so it depends on context here. So, speaking of which, this is where the best parts come in. So again, like, Luffy and Kaido, they're just flying around, hitting each other. And there's a moment there where Kaido uses a new version of Lightning Thunder Bagua, sorry. And he again knocks out Luffy very similarly to how he did in Act 1. But this time Luffy stays in Gear Fort still. And he comes back up and, you know, just starts attacking Kaido. And then you see this clash or you're about to see this clash where Luffy uses his Supreme Kong Gun again. And then Kaido was using a completely new attack. I don't remember exactly the English translation for this, but the Japanese translation for this was, I think, Raikou Hake. So yeah, definitely this was probably going to be one of Kaido's strongest attacks in this fight. But before the clash, obviously CP0 comes in. The CP0 guy taps his shoulder, uses Iron Body, and then that was GG for Luffy when he got beaten the shit out of Kaido here. I don't know what to make of this. Is Luffy gonna come back? I mean, there's a strong possibility that he can tank the attack and then just stand up. There's also a strong possibility that, you know, he uses a new power-up which allowed him to defend against that attack. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities here. But I guess, like, the chapter ends off with the CP0 guy just smiling so smug. Like, I don't know what to say about this. Like, is CP0 now, like, brainwashed into, like, being the world government's dog to a point where the only thing that satisfies them is to follow their orders? Like, you know, that's a harsh statement, but I don't know. This is just such a smug, like, look from CP0. But I think the more important thing here is how Kaido reacted. We see panels going back to Oden versus Kaido, and you know how Kaido defeated Oden. I guess it's very similar to how he knocked out Luffy right now. But you know, Kaido obviously wants to beat someone with honor, especially someone who's strong. And this is the second time that, you know, there's a cop out. He ended up getting a cop out here. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Is Act 3 gonna be over? Is this the tragedy? Does Luffy need to be rescued? Or is Luffy gonna get back up and start using like Gear 5 or the Awakening or whatever? Like, what's gonna happen with CP0? Or what's gonna happen with the CP0 guy? Like, is he gonna get knocked out by Kaido? Or is he gonna fight against Drake and then we'll see a round 2? Or round 3 if that's the same guy who defeated Drake the first time. Who the fuck knows? But like I said, overall impression, this chapter was probably a 10 out of 10 in action. And this is a chapter that I've been waiting for ever since Punk Hazard, where Law and Luffy made their alliance to take down Kaido. Yeah, we've been waiting for this fight for such a long time, and now it's really ramping up. And not just that, now you're getting like more hints as to what CP0 and what their purpose is. So it's really getting closer and closer to the end of Wano, which again is where things are going to get revealed, and I think there's still more things to come. There's still more things that are going to be revealed soon. And again, there might be a chance that Kaido's flashback starts, you know, next chapter, maybe. I mean, he already had 2 moments where he recalled back to the past. You had that moment where he first met Big Mom, and then that moment when he beat Oden. So there might be a flashback incoming in the next couple of chapters. But other than that, please follow me on Instagram. I think Instagram is where I'm the most active, and Instagram is where, like, you know, I usually post whether my videos are uploaded onto YouTube, so it's a great way to keep in track of when I upload the videos. And as always, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm gonna keep making One Piece content, and You know, I won't. I'll always be there unless I have like a very like stress induced week or something. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.